How I ended up in Winnipeg.
Yeah, you're peaking right now.
Yeah. Wow, this is it, boys. When I got to music school, I thought in that first month, this is great to learn. I'm not good at it. Maybe I should pick a different music career. That was 2015. And now here we are, 9 years later. Sometimes I'll get nervous like in the 30 seconds before I walk on.
So you're just a jack of all trades, eh?
I think I'm just a creative. I have to work extra hard. I want to be the most technical, and then I'm never stuck in a situation where I'm in a room and I can't answer a question.
Is your sleep schedule messed up?
Schedule? Mind blowing.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Two Fries Podcast, aka the #1 podcast in Winnipeg, where we document the rise and stardom of Winnipeg's talent and personalities.
We're here at Summer of Sound, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. Thank you so much to the Summer of Sound team for letting us do this and having the opportunity to interview all the artists. Until next time, we hope you enjoy the episode.
I feel like I tour in Canada enough now that I just like, oh, it's all,
You're basically from Winnipeg.
Yeah,
You've been to the Forks.
Well, it's just hard to imagine I'm international right now. Yeah.
To us.
Yeah,
yes.
to you guys.
To us, yes, 100%. Yeah, you've been to the Forks. You basically,
Yeah, I've
You're
seen
basically
it all.
from Winnipeg.
I've walked all of downtown.
Yeah, there's no more.
By yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
That's a very big
Wow,
Winnipegger
like,
thing.
no,
to do.
you're-
Is it?
Yeah,
That's huge.
Downtown's sketchy
That's huge.
sometimes.
#1 murder capital of the world.
Are you serious? Wait, are you?
Yeah. Ta-da. Oh, sorry, Canada. Sorry.
Whoa.
Producer view.
I mean, in New York, you just get used to just don't even look at anyone.
Yeah.
Pretend no one's around you.
You live in
Yeah.
your own world sometimes.
Yeah, you just focus on where you're going, look down, don't even acknowledge the crazy things you see.
All right.
Well, Emily, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really
Thanks
appreciate
for
it.
having me.
Yeah, we want to dive into your journey of
Okay.
how you got to where you are in life.
Sure.
You know, so take us through the roller coaster of what life brought to you and how you got to Summer of Sound.
How I ended up in Winnipeg,
Yeah.
the murder capital.
The peak of your career right here.
This is you're peaking right now.
Wow, this is it, boys. Well, I've always been in music. I started when I was really little playing in orchestra. I did viola and violin for I think the first 10 or 12 years of my life, from 2 onwards until I got to high school, and then I wanted to be a cheerleader, so I quit all of that, got rid of the music stuff, but it always kind of stayed with me. And then I got really into just finding music online during high school, the good old days of Bloghouse and the blogosphere of finding music. And then when I got to college, I started being invited to raves and going to all these frat parties, and it just started to, like, the wheels were turning. I didn't even know you could do that with your life, I guess. And then a friend of mine was a DJ at a club, and he went to a music school for like just the summer between semesters at college. And then I thought, I think I would really like that. You know, I'm finding myself wanting to be the one playlisting for all the pre-games, you know, loving finding new music. I think I would be really good at that. So I ended up doing the program. They had a LA program. He did the New York one. And I did that for the summer, and then that was 2015. And now here we are, 9 years later, in Winnipeg. Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
Damn. And I mean, Summer of Sound as well. Your first time playing at Summer
My
of Sound.
first time Summer of Sound, my first time over here. Yeah, a lot of firsts.
Are you excited for today?
I'm super excited.
Yeah.
I'm super excited.
Do you get nervous before shows?
No.
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 Those days are past? Or were you ever
think-
nervous for shows?
I've always performed. My whole life I've been a performer, starting with doing orchestras when I was really little. And then, yeah, so got that on. And then I did cheerleading, which was a lot of performance. I did ice skating, gymnastics. I was never a big speech giver, though. So anything where I have to, I guess, well, this is
pretty much a
but when I have to prepare it, like, you know, and teach people something, it's a different story. Yapping, of course, that's second nature.
Welcome
But
to
yeah,
the
I've
job.
always been a performer, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that comes really easily to me. I'm not really nervous. Sometimes I'll get nervous like in the 30 seconds before I walk on, but I think that's fair.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's when you go into your flow state.
Yeah, like the transition into the flow, 100%.
Exactly. I mean, going from orchestra to EDM,
Yeah.
completely different worlds.
Totally, but it wasn't even available then.
Right.
You know, when I started when I was in high school, end of middle school, early high school, I think I discovered like Garage Band on my computer.
Oh, yeah.
And at that time, like that was kind of what was going on. And even then, I didn't even know people did that with their life. So it was like, you know, I was always curious in music, but at the time, there was no world for that to exist for me. I didn't even know you could do it.
Right.
So, yeah, most natural transition in my opinion.
How'd you jump in though? Was it like, because you're pretty much self-taught, right? You are self-taught?
Well, I did the 3-month course.
Yeah.
Right.
But after that, yeah, just self-taught. It was like an intro to Ableton. That's the workspace used to create music, and then intro to DJing. And it was 3-month course, twice a week, and yeah, then the rest
Then you
I did
started.
myself.
Do you remember the first couple mixes or remixes that you put together in GarageBand? And do you still have them?
GarageBand?
Yeah.
In GarageBand?
Do you still have
You know
them?
what's so funny? So I came up at the tail end of the MySpace era.
Okay.
And my older sister, she's 4.5 years older, she was deep into MySpace, emo scene, everything like that. So there were like subgenres of music coming up in that era, like kind of punk, kind of dance music. So really, I remember one friend of mine, we would try to make like that kind of punk EDM-y. We had no idea what we were doing. We were just playing with the tools in there. I definitely don't have it. I'm really glad I don't have it.
Yeah.
And then when I got to music school, I thought in that first month, this is great to learn. I'm not good at it. Maybe I should pick a different music career.
Yeah.
You know, who would have thought?
So,
Who would have
so
thought?
what drove you to electronic dance music and getting into this scene of the world? Was it more of just like it stuck naturally, or did you have to, you know, put in the work to learn the craft for what it takes to be in this industry?
Oh, well, I think you definitely, even if you've got the best taste in the world, you've got to put in the hours, right?
Right.
It's like the 10,000 hours thing.
Yeah.
I think I've always been an internet girl, so I was always interested in just absorbing cool things, whether it was graphic design or coding or doing music stuff. So I've always been very tech literate. And this was like an easy extension of
Right.
the things that I already kind of taught myself already. But yeah, with everything, it's like you can have great taste and great intentions, but yeah, it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Even 9 years later, I still feel like I know nothing. You know?
Even though you're performing
know.
for thousands of
Crazy.
people.
Yeah,
and-
I sit in my studio all day, 7 days a week,
Yeah.
and I still know nothing. But I think that's a good thing, right? Like
Right.
your skills are always catching up to your taste.
Exactly.
And now in like your career now, you're also doing a large part of everything as well, the graphic design, the producing, the content creation
Yeah.
side, the music, everything's kind of also, you're still
Right.
incorporating all of that. Can you explain what it's like to be like almost an independent artist and like run everything like by
Exhausting.
yourself?
Tiring,
Oh. Do
missing
you get some sleep?
sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Yeah, but I'm such a perfectionist. Like, if I have this vision for my music and the art and everything, I'm just going to do it myself because I can. You know, I did graphic design, corporate graphic design before I took music full time. So it feels like a sin to let other people do
Yeah.
it when I know exactly what I want.
Yeah.
And I, like, can't really tell them what I want because half of the process, like anything,
up
is
here.
just in
Yeah.
here, just trial and error for 2 days straight.
Right.
So I'd rather just do it myself, which is exhausting, but it's
Yeah.
also very fulfilling, I think, because I get to say I did this. And right now, as if I need another thing to be doing, I'm learning video editing.
Oh,
So
welcome to the club.
I'm learning
Welcome
some
to
like
the club.
color grading, and I've got a friend teaching me. He went to film school, so a fan of mine from Twitch when I used to stream. We're gonna do a little trade, but he's stuff and how to color grade everything to make it nicer. Yeah, so
What program are you using?
Premiere and After Effects.
Okay.
Okay, there you go.
perfect.
I really like animation. I
Right.
taught myself some animation a couple
Hey.
years ago, so yeah, it's like
That's
fun
great.
to do After Effects.
You're just a jack of all trades, eh?
Yeah, I think I'm just a creative, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're always hungry as a creative to learn more things. It's hard to niche yourself into one creative thing as a creative person.
It's 100%. And then I guess transitioning into the world of music,
Right.
I'm curious about your name.
Oh,
Like,
Powerpuff Girl.
Is that where it's from?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
damn.
did. I dyed my hair pink at the end of the summer when I was going to music school. We were going to Hard Summer.
Okay.
And the whole summer I was trying to think, what is my DJ name going to be? Coming up with the stupidest things ever. And one of my girlfriends at the time, she said, wait till we get there. We'll have all our friends there. We'll think of something. I'm like, yeah, right. We're going to be raving for a whole weekend. No, we're not thinking of it. Anyway, so I dyed my hair pink. I thought my parents wouldn't find out. It was like one of those ones that washed away, did not wash away. And then I think we were actually seeing The Weeknd, 2015.
Yeah.
Love the weekend.
And some of her friends came up to me and said, with that pink hair, you look like a Powerpuff Girl. I'm like, thank you. And after that, I'm like, yeah, that'll be the name. One of my advisors at the school was like, maybe you should change one of the letters. You know, a lot of people do like the B's or the whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Nope. Awesome.
As is, no notes, send it.
Was there any other options on the table? Do you remember?
No, Blossom. That was
Really?
it.
There's no other, like, you didn't think of...
I mean, I had other ideas,
Yeah.
but they weren't like authentic to me, right? I think the best names are just like so obviously you.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't have to play the part of Blossom because it's just, my friends even call me Blossom. It's like, it feels like very authentically me. So I think that makes for the best name.
What
Didn't
about-
even think about anything else.
What about when your parents found out that you dyed your hair purple?
That I dyed it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm so close to my mom, I called her like the next day.
The guilt got you.
Well, I couldn't keep it a secret because I wanted to chat with her anyway,
Yeah.
you know? So
You're
it's
on
like,
FaceTime, it's just like the seal.
yeah, I'm like, oh, I've got something to tell you. And she was kind of upset at first. And then she's like, well, if you're going to do it, as she's always said with dyeing your hair, you got to do it nicely, right?
Yeah.
So then as soon as I came home, we like started the process of finding a hairdresser that would do a really nice job.
Shout out to
keeping
mom.
it thick. Yeah, shout out to mom. Both my parents are super supportive.
Right.
So yeah, it's hard to. Most of my friends now don't even know me as anything other than Pink. My longest time friends that I've been friends with since I was like 4, barely remember.
You would break the internet if you changed your hair.
I know. I've thought about it, like maybe if I drop an album. But then
Oh,
I'm
marketing.
Like,
This girl.
but then I'm like, yeah, but everyone notices me as Pink. Like this is the marketing.
Yeah.
You know, this is the marketing.
We were doing a couple interviews before this, and we're like, is that the person who we're supposed to interview? And you walked in, I was like, that's definitely her.
Yeah, I mean, with the full pink and
Yeah.
purple. Can't miss me. Virtually unkidnappable, that's what I say. Yeah.
That's true. They're gonna find you. That's awesome.
What are some of the high moments that you've experienced with music? Like getting to perform. I feel like that's just a high in itself. But I'm sure there's been like goals that you've wanted to achieve. Have you achieved them yet? That have made this journey worth it?
You know what's crazy? I think that I always think about this when I achieve a goal, right? Because you always think it's going to be this moment where confetti is going everywhere, there's fireworks because you achieved it, and then it's just like another day.
Yeah.
And it's like this very weird anticlimactic thing, right? So it's like, yes, I have goals that I've achieved and I feel really excited about them, but the bar keeps moving, right? There's
Exactly.
always something next that you want to achieve. So is life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's been some amazing moments that I've been really proud of. I signed now a 2 EP, I guess, deal with this label Helix. I've done tours with my favorite label UKF. Been accepted into the drum and bass world, which feels really exciting. I feel really proud of that. But yeah, there's always the next thing, right? I'm so excited that I keep getting to do this so I can achieve those next moments.
Do you remember the first big show that you did?
Yeah.
And the story behind that, how it came about and what it was like? Can you share that?
Sure. It was right after music school. At the end of the summer, I saw that in Arizona, where I grew up, they were doing a local DJ competition called 15 Minutes of Fame, where you submit like a 30-minute mix, and then they'd pick the top 15, and then one winner got to play at, was it Gold Rush? I can't remember the name of it right now because they changed the name to something else. Phoenix Lights, maybe. I digress. Anyway, so then I submitted a mix for it. Was so nervous. My first ever like recorded and submitted mix, and I made it into top 15. And I go and play. I mean, I did a pretty good job, but didn't make it. But then I get a call after anyway, and they said, well, we're doing a local stage if you want to come play at the local stage. So I'm like, of course I want to come play at the local stage. So then I got to play that, and then it started rolling from there. I got a phone call from one of the promoters for another club in town who was doing a show. And at the time, I'm 20. I had to be 21. So I had to wait a month. I'm like, I'll be 21 by the time of the show. Please just wait for me. Just like, sure. Yeah. So he books me like a week after.
Oh, amazing.
So yeah, and then it just started rolling, you know, just staying consistent. But yeah, that was the first like big moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever find that industry tends to underestimate what you can do on the stage? In a sense?
Totally.
Yeah. Can you talk about how you deal with that and you know, how you
And
overcome
why?
it? Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I think being a girly girl, that's hard for people to take seriously sometimes.
Right.
But I just combat it by being the absolute best. You know, I have to work extra hard. I want to be the most technical, and then I'm never stuck in a situation where I'm in a room and I can't answer a question. Right? Like, I want to be able to teach other people things. And that word gets around, right? Like, if the cool people know that you're good at what you're doing and you're serious and you're teaching them, that kind of stuff gets around, right? So it's just starting small and showing people what you can do, but it's like also about really showing up and doing the work and, you know, overcoming the stereotypes for what other people have and not letting those stop you from achieving what you want to achieve, right? Because it'd be easy to just fall into the trap of, oh, I can't do it.
Yeah. And it's very easy for people to just hop on like Instagram or like comments and just type away.
The stuff I read is so foul.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah,
does it
just
get to you?
offensive.
Does
It's
it get to
offensive.
you? Do you like digress on it? Do you just like, oh, it's just a random person on there, or do you have one that sticks out? That like, or maybe earlier we all have I have a hate comment. Some guy was like, we had 45 subscribers. Some guys like, quit your podcast, and I was like, ouch.
45, that
was a
early.
while ago.
Pack
yeah.
it up and go.
They were like, it's not gonna happen.
wow, no one would make it
I know.
anywhere.
I was like, so like, do you have
Give up that quick.
do you have a comment that like sticks to you, and then
Not really. I mean, they're all just generally the same regurgitation of weird words
Sometimes
and
they're funny,
rudeness.
though. Okay.
Well, sometimes they're funny, but they're just like so uninformed.
Yeah.
It's surprising that given how long it took them to type that, they couldn't actually just go look it up.
Right.
You know, so that's the part that's like really annoying because these things are so public that you could look just one search, just like one search.
Yeah.
You know, so that part drives me nuts. But there's nothing like specific. I mean, it almost feels like they're just like flowing in of just nonsense, and none stands out more than others. I think with any platform, no matter who you are, especially with if you get a viral post, right, it's like reaching such a broad population, and a lot of them aren't in your niche at all. So you're just getting people that don't know you, are chronically online, whatever. So it's just, you know, comes with the territory. However, I will say when your post goes viral, for all those hate comments, it's getting pushed to more people that do like what you're doing. So you just have to hold on to those people and treasure them. Like, despite reading all of those, you decided you liked it.
Exactly.
So.
And it's a part of the game, right? It's like social
Yeah.
media. Well, let's dive into the social media world.
Sure.
I mean, like, how has that helped you with your career in a sense of like maybe getting more gigs or getting more shows to play? How does social media impact your presence?
Well, I lose hair over it.
She's stressed.
These days, it's not that fun anymore. Back when I did my big numbers, you know, got up to 100K, felt like the game was so different then. You know, I think like the type of posts that I was posting, reels were just starting, barely. You know, the opportunities for those viral moments were so much more available. I think now it's a lot more stressful because of just general saturation, you know, and it's no one's fault. Everyone wants to succeed online, right? And we're told so much of artistry is about posting all the time, right? It's just this tough spot we've been put into as artists. So Yeah, I do think it's helped me in a lot of ways. It's definitely a positive to have good numbers. It also feels like a everlasting burden. You know?
Can you please elaborate on that?
Yeah, it's just it's the same thing. The needle is always moving, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, how many more followers can I get?
Yeah.
And I think when you're doing that, it's really hard to make the community feel seen, the hardcore people, because you're trying to make such broad content.
Right.
It's hard to make those OG people feel really like they haven't gotten left behind.
Yeah.
It's tough, right? It's tough to build that audience. And I don't always necessarily think it makes that much of an impact on like how many people are listening to my music. I think what's better off is if I'm really nurturing those existing fans and making them super excited, because they'll be the ones that are telling their friends, I got this sick song. It's not these random people that just come across my page on Explore and just follow without thinking about it.
Exactly.
I think.
Do you remember the first viral post that put you there? Or even, it doesn't even have to be viral, but the one that you felt went viral? Because sometimes the ones that like maybe hit 1,000 views for the first time is like way more exciting than to hit like,
Oh my gosh, those are such early days.
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember some of these posts getting like 300 likes was like
Yeah.
mind blowing.
Yeah, of course.
You just think, wow, I've totally made it.
Yep.
And then of course the needle moves, right? But I do think the one that I remember most was right after the pandemic. The first show back in Arizona was Fisher, Chris Lake, their construction tour.
Right.
They did like mega structure for this. They got the DJs up there, they've got the tables on this mega structure, so there's probably like 20 tables, bottle service, everything up there, and then there's like, I don't know, couple 10,000 more, 20,000 people out there.
Yeah.
And I did just like a little video recap, and that blew up for whatever. I mean, everyone was so hungry to get out of the house at that point.
Yeah.
They were just any party content, so excited about. So that one was like the first viral one. And it was like the advent of Reels, I think. So.
Fisher's actually coming here in a month.
Oh, I thought today. I'm like,
No, not
No,
today, not
no,
today. No,
not
no,
did
no,
I
no,
miss
in a month.
that?
No.
Sick. That'll be a really fun show. That'll be a really fun show.
I mean,
So you got Blossom, you got Fisher.
well, hopefully, we're trying our
Winnipeg,
best. We're on the
Winnipeg.
rise, technically. We're too over rise.
Yeah,
We are on the
exactly.
rise. We are on the rise.
Crime on the low.
No, of course.
Crime
I'm on the low,
We
100%.
hope. We hope.
hope.
so.
We're working on
I
it.
think we're actually
working
no
on
longer the capital or murder
it.
capital. and
We
we're-
went second.
I think we're second.
We're going down the list. We're going down the list.
We're improving slowly. Slowly.
And part of-
I like this thread throughout the discussion.
Yeah.
We always end up back there somehow.
100%. 100%.
It does.
That's-
It's like you said, New York is very similar to Winnipeg. It's just on a different scale.
Totally.
Can
totally.
you talk about living in New York? What's that like? What's the world like?
It's
You
great.
didn't grow up in New York, did you?
No, I grew up in Arizona.
Arizona, yeah.
Yeah. I love New York.
And the transition to moving to New York, what was that?
So hard. So I've never moved before, so I picked the craziest place you could move to as a first time moving, living anything further than 20 minutes from my parents.
Yeah.
So I just moved. I really fell in love with the city maybe 2 years ago, and I started touring there more and more, and then finally last March I was with one of my girlfriends at a show I was playing, and I was saying, I think I'm going to try out here for the summer, maybe do an Airbnb.
Yeah.
And she said, well, why don't you just move in with me for a month and see if you like it?
Yeah.
And then I lived with her for July, and then we had so much fun. We made it, roommate official last end of September. So I'm coming up on a full year there.
Congratulations.
First 6 months were so hard.
Yeah.
They were so
You have to
hard.
walk everywhere.
Well, I actually don't mind walking everywhere. You adjust to that pretty quickly, right? Like 2 months, and you're like, I just walk everywhere now.
Gotcha.
So I don't think about it at all. Even today, I took the bus from the airport, just hop on the bus. It's so nice. I love public transportation now. It's the best.
You
Wow.
went on Winnipeg Transit.
Wow.
Yeah, I just took the bus.
Wow.
What are your thoughts?
Crazy.
It was so easy. I mean, it's just a bus, right?
It is.
Like, what a great, convenient way to get somewhere. And it dropped me right off.
Yeah.
So it was perfect.
We love our city, just so we're putting
Yeah,
that out there.
yeah.
We are very
I
fortunate.
mean, I think even coming from Arizona, I would never even think about taking a bus.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just like what you're used to, right? It has you just don't even
Yeah.
think of it as an option. But now that I've been doing it so much in the city, it's like, yeah, just take the bus.
We would probably say the same thing about the subway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd be like, no, the subway's so cool.
I love taking the subway. I take it all the time.
I went
Yeah.
to Montreal, and the subway system they have there is not comparable to New York, but I'm not.
It still is
Yeah.
so nice.
Yeah.
So
It's liberating.
Yeah.
It's so nice to
Yep.
not be chained to a car. You just, take the subway.
Yeah.
Take the
Exactly.
bus. You know, it's really, really nice. So, anyway, yeah, the first 6 months really hard. I think just like a lot of growing pains,
Right.
being in that type of environment. My first winter
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah, compared to Arizona, yes, you were correct.
That was a learning curve. I'm still a winter denialist, but this year I will buy an actual jacket.
Yeah.
We gotta get you here in like our winter.
Come
Like
on, -4.
yo,
do
summer
not-
or sound.
we do
Let's
not
book you.
have to get me
Let's
here.
book
We
you
do
a
not.
let's book you a show for January.
Well,
summer here.
I played Edmonton and Calgary
Okay.
2 years ago for New Year's.
Yeah.
So I've experienced what it
There you
is
go.
to be unbelievably cold. I know what that life is like. Yeah, it was tough though living there this last winter, but you just adjust, you know, that's the thing. I think I've grown so much as a person. I think that was essential. And I wanted to do it before I turned 30, you know, have an experience outside of Arizona. So yeah, I feel like I really achieved that, and now it's great. It's really great. And now I'm thinking, where else do I want to move?
Yeah.
You know, you just like your mind
Winnipeg.
expands now. You know, well, I'm thinking more like London.
Okay.
But-
Okay, you gotta talk to Babo.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
do they live in London?
Well, one of the person does, yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's from London.
I had no idea.
Aiden.
Yeah. Aiden from Wabo.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
We just talked to them like an hour ago. so-
Okay. Okay. So you fact checked and all.
Yeah, 100%.
Hopefully.
100%.
Hopefully they're-
Real news. Real news.
Question for you. So there's in the world of DJs, there's a lot of highs, right? You're running, seeing a crowd just jump and vibe, and seeing all the people coming out to see your music. But there's also a lot of lows,
Yeah.
right? Can you speak about some low moments when you were maybe hesitant of like, oh, is this gonna work out for me, or oh, I'm just stuck in the studio
What, you
over and
want,
over
like,
again?
my diary every day?
Can we make this a therapy session, please? We'll charge her hourly, please.
Oh
Thank
my
you.
gosh! Every time you think you're the master, then the next day you just started again. You know.
Yeah.
So, I think that part's challenging. You're always like, everything is changing so fast all the time, and you have one bad day and you think, well, it's not worth it anymore.
Yeah.
Because it is a hard career, right? It's like a lot of believing in yourself, like delusionally believing in yourself. Because everyone else you'll get 1,000 comments in one day on a post that say what a loser you are, right?
Right.
So you have to be so crazy to believe it's going to work, defy all odds, push past what everyone else is quitting or would like be like a normal point to call it in.
Yeah.
So I think just like existing in that world is challenging for sure, because then you tap into reality. You're like, whoa,
Yeah.
what is this world I've been living in?
Delusional
Yeah,
optimism.
delusional world, but you have to, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise no one's going to believe in it. You have to be the number one believer. So it's hard sometimes because you know you're existing in that, and when you tap out of it and get a taste of reality, I think it's hard to bring yourself up so much higher, right?
Yeah.
To that baseline, which is not even really a baseline, it's crazy town.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's hard. And there's a lot of like day-to-day hard things. I mean, the travel is really hard.
Yeah.
The travel part is really hard. I found it can be very isolating.
Yeah. And a part of being on this constant go is that you
Right.
have to show 110% every time you're on the stage.
Totally, yeah.
And so how do you battle with that, and how do you overcome those obstacles in a sense to say that you're there for the crowd and you're going to give your 200%?
I call my mom.
Yes.
I whine a little bit. She says, "You're gonna be okay," and then I get to the show and I have a great time.
beautiful.
But it's
Beautiful.
like I think my most depressed is the 2 hours before I have to be somewhere, being in the hotel, getting ready, so tired. My superior low.
Yeah. Rock
For
bottom.
sure.
Rock
But then
bottom.
I call my Larry every time. Call my mom. I'm texting her. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And then she's like, "You love it." And I go, "And I love it." And the high is like right after when I'm, packing all my stuff at 3 in the Yeah, that's
Do you have a moment when you felt like you might want to quit? Like, I know COVID was a very tough time for a lot of artists, and
Yeah.
there's moments when nobody's listening to your music, and you're really doubting yourself.
I feel like that was the best part of my career.
Yeah.
I've got to say, because I moved home and my parents are so sweet. I was working at like a women's fitness gym, so of course that doesn't exist anymore given COVID. And I just love to DJ. So my parents, I come home one day, no idea what I'm doing. My career is finally just starting. I had just signed with my agent. I had just booked EDC and then everything gone. And I come home and they moved the guest bed around and they moved all my gear into the room and made a nice little setup and said, "You can have this room. You can perform in here. You can do the Twitch stuff that people are saying."
Yeah.
So I got in really early. I got 2 weeks after Twitch and everything started to grow.
Yeah.
I started Twitch and I did that twice a week for a year and a half.
Wow.
And some of my super fans to this day. Actually, the guy teaching me the film stuff was from Twitch.
Wow.
I still have fans in Tucson. One came down from Phoenix, drove out to hang out with the other audience member, I guess, from my Twitch community. And they came to my show there. It's like, those were like the hardcore, core Blossom fans that like, we went through so much together, right? And I've always been a performer, so I kind of feel like those were the happiest days. I had like uninterrupted time with my fans and my community. I was doing 4 hours, if not more, streaming a week, sometimes an extra stream, and just hanging out.
Yeah.
And so those were, I really do think of those days fairly fondly, I've got to say.
It's amazing.
Yep.
Can you talk about performing at EDC?
Yeah, what do you want to know?
That's insane, first of all.
Yeah,
That's
surreal,
insane.
totally surreal.
Yeah.
That's like dreams of many
Yeah.
artist DJs when they first pick up the decks or
Yeah.
start putting one sound to another. How'd you figure it out? How'd you get the call, the email? What came about, and like
No
performing
idea.
as well? And
No
performing as well.
idea how I got there, but we got the call. And boy, was I excited! I'm like, me, this Blossom? There's not someone else you're trying to talk to? It was my favorite festival before. I'd been a bunch of times with other friends that had performed, and the timing felt right to play. I'd done some releases with Insomniac. That was kind of the first step, and then I played the Insomniac stage. They have Stereo Bloom every year, which is their, where they put a lot of burgeoning artists on that stage. So I got to play there, and then they asked me, the first time I got booked, because then I got moved 3 times,
Yeah.
for COVID. And then, so then I got booked for that, and then by the time I actually played, I don't even remember when this was at this point. October 2021 is when it finally came around. Yeah, because then I played May 2022.
Okay.
Totally. Then I got asked to do opening ceremony. And at that, between then and there, when I first got asked, I think the announce was February 2020. Great timing. And when I finally played, it was October 2021,
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
That would track, right? Who knows?
Sure. We'll take your word for
Could be
it.
anything.
Yeah.
I think I'd grown a lot as an artist between those times, and I'd really put in the work on Twitch and cultivated a real fan base, so felt like good timing for that. And I played 2 EDCs and 1 Vegas and 1 EDC Mexico.
Wow.
And that was
That's
crazy. Mexico City. So fun.
What about it? What specifically?
It's so fun. It felt like I did a little study abroad in Barcelona. And it felt like the cool artsy culture, historic. It was so beautiful. I feel like I really made such a wrong by not spending more time there and going and doing really cultural stuff, like seeing pyramids, seeing museums, everything like that. I feel, I really messed up there, I gotta say. But I want to go back, and then I have really time. You think there's going to be more time when you go there, but most of the day is spent sleeping and going to the festival, as we know.
Yeah.
So, it's
Is your sleep schedule messed up? Like, I
schedule.
like in terms of how does it work in the sense, like, if you're performing late, then you go to bed at like what, 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. I don't know. How does this work in terms
Hence
of
the calls to my mom.
Yeah.
You're messing up your mom's sleep schedule.
That's
too.
Well, no. I wait till she's up, and she's in Arizona, right? So it's like 3 hours
right.
there. So usually, by the time I'm getting ready, it's like, if I even went on West Coast, it's like 8.
Gotcha.
So it's normal time.
Yeah.
And then if I finish at midnight somewhere, or if I'm going somewhere at midnight, it's still 9.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not so bad. And the best part is she wakes up at like 5. So if I'm leaving somewhere and I'm landing at 8, I can text her. It's great. So she's up again. So yeah, that part I could not do without her picking up my calls, because it's really hard. I think the hardest one was I spent 2 weeks in London visiting my sister and signing stuff for the label, studio sessions, whatnot. And then I came back for 3 days. I flew I played in New Mexico, which is, so London is 6 hours ahead of me, or 5 hours ahead of me in New York. Then New York time, I'm there for 3 days. Then I go to Albuquerque, which is 2 behind. Then I went to Phoenix, which was an hour behind. I spent 3 days in Phoenix, and then I went to Hawaii. My body had no idea what was going on. Sleep schedule, none. And the worst part is the night that I played the show, I slept like 4 hours. I just couldn't sleep. I woke up at like 7:30, like ready to go.
Yeah. I didn't sleep yesterday, and I'm just sitting here and talking. I can't imagine what you guys are going through.
You forget that that's something humans need.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's the price you pay, right? It's the career we choose.
But it's so worth it.
Yeah,
It's so
it's worth it. I feel in a lot of ways I get to live a life of luxury, working for myself.
Exactly.
Hanging out in the studio all day creating. It feels almost, I don't want to use the word gluttonous, but yeah, I feel like, wow, I get to spend all this time on me, doing my creative thing all day. I feel really lucky. So it's like those parts that the freedom to do that is what the hard parts give me. So I have to be grateful, I think, for those parts, because the rest of my life I get to do really fun stuff, like learn animation and color grading. Like, how cool.
If you weren't DJing or artisting, what would you be doing? Like you said you had a corporate job before this, but like,
well, just graphic design, corporate graphic design, very unsexy.
Would that be your life? Like, if you were
perhaps
perhaps
probably something creative stuff.
Like when you were like young, like 5, 6, like what was
what
your
I
dream?
want to do?
Yeah,
I wanted to be an architect.
Really?
Oh, nice.
Or like
Cool.
a city planner.
Cool.
I love
Winnipeg needs
like
those.
Legos and like drawing out whole cities and making the language and stuff. I would have loved that.
That's cool.
But I mean, I was like 5.
Yeah, of course. I wanted to be an astronaut. So.
Exactly. Pipe dreams. Well, who knows?
No,
Although
no.
these days, I don't know if you want to be sent up there after what's going on.
I think I'd still do it, to be honest. Like, just to, like.
You will not catch me anywhere in space
If
or
I get
in
the call,
ocean.
if I get the email, like, Robin, you're good, like, to go.
So you
I
would
might.
perhaps
I
be
might.
stuck in a box for indefinite period, and they can't get you down.
I feel like that's a solid way to go out.
Can you just turn around and see what's right behind you?
There's a rocket ship behind you.
There's a reason we.
No, but I feel like if there's one way to go out,
Imagine
it's same
a
with this.
podcast in space.
Okay.
Like, can I live stream it or something? Like,
So we're not watching it. All is going on right now with the astronauts stuck up there for who knows how long. That, like, the risk of that. No, thank you. No, thank you.
I don't know.
No interest. That.
What about submarine?
Spaceships and yacht.
What about
Are
submarine?
you kidding me? Have you been checking the news?
I know.
At all? No. ground
Ground floor.
and flights, I guess.
Okay.
You know, because I have to.
It's pretty much close. You're
I'm basically in space.
you're more in space than I am, to be honest.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Crazy to think about.
Yeah, 2 for eyes. Welcome to the pod.
Wow.
Thank
Well,
you.
Emily, before we let you go, is there any advice that you can give to our audience listening, whether they want to pursue their dreams or
Do I have
whether
to
they're
look into
No,
a
you can
camera?
just tell- you could just tell
say it
us.
to me.
You could just tell-
just give me
what-
some advice.
This one?
Yeah.
Stay crazy, stay delusional, keep pushing past every point of where you should stop, because I feel like the magic is always just like right there. You just have to keep at it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emily.
Yeah, thanks. That was
I appreciate
fun.
it.
I can't believe this is over.
Yeah.
It's also 7, so we want
We
to give some
got-
time
Oh my
to
God.
rest.
Yes.
before
Really?
your-
Wow.
Yes. Like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next week.
Get us yapping. We
Peace.
can nap forever. Oh.
Well, yeah, forever. No
Yeah.
worries.
Yeah, no problem on that.